Well, here we be once more. Another Wednesday, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, all those in between. Welcome. There are a couple of announcements I need to make before I get into today's show. Please do bear with me. Firstly, my sincerest condolences go out to the family, friends, and colleagues of one Sir Julian Le Fay, who sadly passed away today. He is the one of the minds that brought us the Elder Scrolls 1 and the Elder Scrolls 2 games, and he was also working on the upcoming spiritual successor to the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, The Wayward Realms. So my sincerest condolences. We have lost a grand technical mind today, someone with grand ambition for a grand role-playing game. So Resquiet in Pace, may he rest in peace, and may he see more wonders than he birthed on this world, and boy, did he birth a lot. On a happier note, I must also... bit of a whiplash. I must also wish a very, very happy anniversary to the lovely couple of Everett Games, Vicky and Dean Hill Jowett. 28 years today, and we'll dig out some of their wedding pictures, because congratulations to them. They've become fast friends of mine, and I am more than happy to have them on later on tonight. Third and final announcement, something a little bit more selfish. We have had some explosive growth this month. The X account has grown by thousands of people. We are closing in on the 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel incredibly quickly at a rate of knots. You guys are of that first legion, the first 1,000 members of the Jack Pack. If you have not yet already, do share the content around. Tell your friends, tell your family, get your nan, tell your nan to subscribe, and we'll go to the moon, baby. But no, I thank you all very much for your support. It helps keep me motivated, keeps me going. I also thank you all for tearing me down all the time, because it keeps me grounded, even if it does break my heart. Right. We have a topic to get to today. I had a bit of a viral tweet about, status conditions and crowd control within Dungeons & Dragons, because I used a monster called a Grisgol. I used the Dungeon Dad's 5th edition stat block to torture my group last session. And it had a paralysis on hit effect that hit their NPC cleric hireling companion and paralyzed him for a turn. So it's a very threatening monster. And so we're going to talk about fair play, the best way to crowd control players, why it doesn't feel great, why it's okay, and I've got a very interesting panel. Firstly, I think I should bring on the progenitor of this conversation, the man who was nearly paralyzed on Sunday by the Grisgol, Brass. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad, mate.
Not too bad?
Not bad at all.
Good. How you feeling after your near miss on Sunday?
Oh, it wasn't that near a miss. He paralysed. He went for a different character, okay?
Indeed.
He didn't even go for me at all.
He did go mad, though.
Oh, yeah, that was true. But that was more of a flavour roleplay thing. I'm fine with all that.
Well, see if Windows 11 has turned you down a tad in the sound settings, because
yeah, probably
it's done it to me. I don't know what it is with Windows and turning microphones down. But, so we've got you here as sort of a more Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition mechanical mind. You actually released yourself a Brass Dragon video today, heavy on mechanics, looking at both the 2014 and 2024 version of the Brass Dragon. Excellent watch. Feel free to drop it in chat, by the way.
I'll be spamming chat.
Yes, spam the chat. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Brass yet, he makes videos now. Go subscribe to Brass. And it's not always about self-promotion, except when it is. Isn't that right, Alyssa?
Well, I mean, that is the whole reason why I'm online in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. What is it? What's the statistic? Like 80% of being an indie author is marketing?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes. Speaking of which,
20% is hippos.
True. Released my newest book 4 days ago. Yay.
Congrats. It was a good launch, I saw.
Yeah, it was a pretty good launch. It was probably the best one I've had so far, which is saying a lot. Thank you to everybody who took the time to look at them. And before I detract too much from the actual reason why we're all here to get, the reason we're actually all here is to talk about my books. But let me just move on. I'm excited to kind of delve into this because I think that there's just a lot of stuff out there in terms of crowd control, especially when you look at different systems. So I'm kind of interested to pick people's brains about like how different systems approach it, and especially environmental factors. I think that gets overlooked quite a bit.
Well, it's funny you should say different systems. Because the happy couple, their anniversary, 28 years today, is here. I didn't plan it like this. The couple behind Untold Destiny, Mr. and Mrs. Phil Howard. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having us on.
Gonna do some musical chairs. Don't mind me. There we are. No, welcome, guys. Welcome indeed. Look at this. I've got female representation. It only took me 20 odd episodes. Well, as always, the mod wife and several moderators are floating about and keeping an eye on the proceedings. So do behave yourselves, boys and girls. Dean.
Yes.
You have quite a nuanced approach to crowd control conditions in Untold Destiny.
Yeah.
They level up. They get worse the more you get hit with them, but they're not bad to start with, sort of thing.
The crowd control that really hits, so paralysis is a great example. I, having been birthed in first ed, basic D&D, second ed, the one thing I've always hated, the save or die mechanic. And I know people who are from that era love it because it's that excitement of losing your character in one dice roll. And I've never liked it because if you really invested, it's character-driven storytelling you're going for. It seems unfair. So when designing the conditions within Untold Destiny, the really bad conditions, I made sure they had to have a number of steps to go through before the really bad thing happened. So, Brass, your character got paralyzed, but it wasn't until you failed one saving throw to become slowed, and then another one to become paralyzed. And then there was no one nearby to help you, to save you, to get the creatures off you, because you went out on your own. So there were a lot of steps. Yeah, a lot of steps to make that condition, that really bad condition happen. But once it happened, there's no saving at the end of each of your turns. Oh, I think Vicky's just... Oh dear, I might have to
about female representation.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, she messed up my seating plan.
IT support, I really do.
Oh, we're sorting it out. Tomorrow we're getting a new laptop. It'll be a lot better.
Shame.
So her laptop's just so old. Oh, it's terrible. But yes, it was to make sure that status effects are still feared. So we have things like energy drain, petrification, but there are a number of steps that have to go through before you get hit with that. So when you come up against a creature like a cockatrice, a medusa, or something like that, you fear the creature. But you fear it because if you fail enough saving throws, or if you end up in the wrong position, you can lose your character. But it shouldn't.
Which Brass did.
Brass did.
Was the end of Barrack.
Indeed, yeah.
Absolutely. But it wasn't one action that lost him his character. It was a series of events. Yeah.
Perhaps a little too long.
Exactly. In fact, one of the recent changes I've actually made to status conditions is the stunned condition, which typically you can't do anything. You can't react to anything. You don't have an action. And I've never really liked that. So stun is one of these conditions where you can get stunned, but you can still act, you can still do things, but you're at a great bane to anything you do. So it's still bad, but it doesn't take all that agency away from your character and leave you unable to do anything during the combat.
Agency, I believe, is going to be a key word.
I think so.
So, Brass,
Yeah.
you've been at the mercy of several of these effects over the last little while, actually, because I think you were petrified in my game a little while ago.
Yep, only as a level 5 as well. So
you got better. I think was it Milo was paralyzed and nearly died, but you saved him.
yes, he was. You got a little bit stun locked there.
But you yourself have suffered it several times. You don't like it.
No, because at the end of the day, we're here to play a game, not watch other people play a game. And especially when you're playing online and retention is already difficult enough as it is. When you are missing quite literally an hour of gameplay because you've skipped 3 turns and your rounds take 20 minutes because there's loads of enemies, your players are slow. No one enjoys that. So, like, petrification was that was kind of what really changed my mind about it. Because when you're a forever DM, you don't realize how annoying these status effects are as a player, right? I used to use them all the time. I had a character which, fortunately, the players never actually got to fight in the last campaign I did, who had a mass hold person spell that he could do as like a legendary action. And I thought, oh, this is going to be great. Thankfully, I never got to use that, because then after that campaign, I started to realize, you know what, actually, this is terrible. And petrification is one of those things. Like, there are creatures at lower levels that could do petrification. There's basilisks, there's cockatrices, things like that. But the saving throw for them is extremely low. And I am of the mind that if you are going to use something as drastic as petrification, you need to give players a way out of it. And that's why, like, I complained because I was level 5. The only restoration spell we had was Lesser Restoration. Doesn't cure petrification, only paralysis. And so nobody in that party, other than some Deus Ex Machina, which saved me afterwards, but no one in that group had any way of getting out of petrification.
I will push back on the Deus Ex Machina, because you had that amulet given to you for a reason.
Yeah, but to be fair, I didn't think it would trigger on a petrification.
Well, it's technically death.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But what I mean, like, if it wasn't me, for example, that got petrified, then that was it. That was the end of the character because they failed the saving throw. I think it was technically 2. Which
it was 2 saving throws. It was the dragon construct from Fizzbands.
But, I mean, the way I like to do it is I'll usually limit it to 1 round. I don't mind status effects and debuffs. Restrain, slows, things like that. Anything that allows you to still play the character, but maybe limit your options, is fine. In fact, if anything, it encourages more tactical gameplay. It gets you sometimes more invested. You're like, right, I need to really think about what I can do with my turn here. Do I run away or do I attack? But in terms of just, right, yep, sorry, you're stunned. And it's like there's a Zach the Bold, very, very good D&D YouTuber, and he did a short on it. And, it's meant to be comedic purposes, but it is true. He was saying he played like a fighter that's got like a 10 in intelligence or something. And the Lich casts Hold Person on him, and it's got a DC of 17. And he goes, oh, so you mean I have an 85% chance of not being able to play the game? And then every single turn, yeah, you can repeat the saving throw, but the chance of succeeding that as a fighter is minimal.
I had a similar situation a while back, where I was playing a dwarf fighter. Just because, okay, let's play something old school. Of course, the night that I'm playing this, our opponents are mind flayers.
Oh yeah.
Whoop.
It was awful. I got hit with some kind of mind stun. I did not roll over like an 8 for so many rounds to try to get the saving throw. So I was just sitting there. I went from being like, oh my gosh, to mad to actually just bursting out laughing every time I rolled it at the table, because at that point,
if you don't
what
laugh,
can
cry.
you do? And it's from then on I decided, you know what? I as much as I want to make my father proud of me, I don't think a dwarf fighter is my speed anymore.
Well, I used mind flayers to counter my dwarf barbarian in my second campaign, which was Vixene's character, because the dwarf barbarian is really, really strong, and I thought, right, I'm going to introduce some like wisdom and intellect saves. It's going to be great. She couldn't play the game for like multiple hours, and then had her brain eaten. So.
She only got a little bit of eat.
Nibbling.
She got better.
If she's a dwarf barbarian, did she miss that part of her brain that much?
No.
Well, I mean, yeah, 1 inch, she's still functioning the same.
Yeah.
She's still solo to Death Knight.
And that's why
I apologize, Vicky. We'll get to you in just a sec. I do have some people have given me money to say things. We have got firstly Paladin Steve $5 dues. I think that gets him the crown. I've seen them use stun on Star Trek all the time, and those people can't do anything after getting hit, Dean. Bit of a snipe there, Dean. You should come up.
No. It's the difference between sci-fi and fantasy. In sci-fi, stun prevents you doing stuff. In fantasy, it's an inconvenience.
Blast it to stun. I was just playing a Star Wars game before I got on here. I had to pull myself away. And then we've got my grandest champion, who doesn't show up very often. Couple of adventurers. Anytime mind flayers appear, it is awful. That's because they suck. They are dumb. You shouldn't use mind flayers. Vicky.
I was just going to say, I've also been in a campaign where mind flayers were used, Dean. And at the time I was the wizard, and I spent the whole time concentrating on Intellect Fortress to stop every other member of the party basically dying horribly, which meant as a wizard, that was my one concentration spell. That was it.
Yeah, but concentration sucks as a mechanic.
That kind of reminds me of Brolgear Brass.
Yeah.
If you want to tell Vicky about that one.
Well, the
concentration on the one spell that saved the entire party.
Oh, the heat metal situation. Yes. I was sat there. I mean, I might as well have been stun locked, because the way this spell works is you cast it once. There's nothing the enemy can do about it. They just take fire damage over and over and over again. The con save, I think all it does is
make you drop a weapon.
Succeed. Yeah, they don't drop their weapon, but I was casting it on his armor, so he couldn't have done that anyway. And the whole fight, this orc boss had disadvantage, miss, did absolutely nothing to anyone. And I was sat in the corner, basically not playing the game, but also carrying the game at the same time. I asked for that spell to be nerfed after using it. I was like, Jack, please don't ever let me cast that again.
So this I think will bring me nicely into the conversation, because I will stand against this tide. I will plant the flag of crowd control, of stun, of paralysis, and of being a dick to your players. Not quite.
Can I first answer Elven Mage's question? Someone did try to help with the saving throw. I don't know which situation you're on about, but with the petrification, someone actually did have a clever solution, but it was shot down.
I don't remember.
That was Kai. He was playing as a cleric. I can't remember what spell he cast, but he said, can I cast this thing to try and, like, at least, somewhat release her from the petrification? And you're like, nope, that's not how the spell works. So
I also was already deciding in my head at that point that, yeah, you were going to have your first transformation.
That is fair enough, to be honest.
Right. Also, don't answer her question. She didn't pay me any money.
Wow.
She's only supported me the entirety of this career so far.
Amy will remember this.
I think crowd control is a very important part of most systems. I like the way Dean does it, and I actually do agree with a lot of what Brass has to say about stun, petrify, and paralysis in terms of not just throwing it out at your players too much, because you will not have a table after a while. People just have to sit there and not play the game. However, I also said to you in this Brolgear situation, when you stunned and basically nerfed my big bad into the ground with heat metal, that no, I wasn't going to nerf the spell, because you had the counter to the situation. And if you didn't have that spell and use it smartly on his armor, that orc had loads of crits that you made him miss with disadvantage via heat metal. You saved that combat. You might not have been actively swinging your hammer, but you were a cleric preventing the rest of the party going down. So your crowd control against my big bad, I've always praised. And you do more of that. I expect if a player has access to those sorts of abilities and spells, that the players should realize that there are going to be creatures that can do similar things, if not more, because the creatures are supposed to go up against, 4 to 5 players on their own. Take the Grizzgol, for instance. He had a lot of one-use spells because his body was made up of old magical parchment, and when the parchment burned, he cast that spell. The one-use thing of that is he was going to run out of steam eventually anyway. The paralysis effect of his attacks, in my mechanical understanding, helps him survive long enough on his own to actually be a threat. None of you are actually very close to death. Your cleric companion, your NPC hireling, went down, but you brought him back up. And, it was a by-the-numbers fight, other than the fact that there was the potential risk of getting slapped and of getting paralyzed, which I think heightened the tension and let you know that the monster wasn't playing around, especially when the chain lightning went off. I think that these conditions, they add a lot.
I will say, especially if you build in a party balance with a character that does crowd control, their absence is very felt, I feel like, at the table. If they're, we have one player on my current table who's a bard who, her big special thing is crowd control. The nights when she is not present, it is very much, there's another layer of difficulty to the combats that we didn't have before. We don't have the advantages that we had. She's a bard, so we don't have the advantages. We don't have the songs that are inspiring us to be better at what we're currently doing. And in a game like Pathfinder 1E, where it's like adding up all these advantages, things like that, when you have that knocked out from underneath you, it can be a very different fight. So I think that, especially if you're not abusing it and using it as coordination with your other teammates, because D&D is that cooperative game, I think that crowd control can be an important part of the session.
Creative use of environment, as you were saying, is also part of crowd control. Before we continue, people are giving me money again. Woohoo! We've got a few super chats to go through. Let's have a look. See, we have the Elven Maiden for $2 dues tells me to buy something nice for Vic. I bought her Chinese food today. We had Chinese for dinner. It was kind of difficult to fit them in the oven. I'm going to get in trouble for that joke, aren't I? No, we didn't eat people. We went to a restaurant, and they're... actually, I've been going to that place for ages. They're great in there. And we have a Fifel sighting. Fifel lives. Fifel, I keep telling you, I require art. If I don't get my fix, I will take your IP and I will use AI to generate myself some Fifel art. Get working. And we also have a Rumble rant. $1 due from Liverpool. Says, tell Alyssa he'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. I think that means mind flayers. That was terrible. Oh, Graph Paper's in the chat as well. Hello, Graph Paper. Right. Let me get back to the all comments. There was a session of Untold Destiny we played on Monday. And we were being chased by literal hundreds. Dean?
It was up to 100 orcs, not hundreds, but carry on.
There were 3 of us.
Yeah, and?
We ran away well.
You killed this warband leader's brother and left him burning by the lava flow in Midway.
He had it coming.
He might not have had it coming, but you demonstrated great strength, and orcs respect that.
I'm just picturing the scene from Revenge of the Sith now.
You
left him in a lava pit. No wonder he's coming after you. I did
lava.
nothing wrong. I had the high ground.
I dropped 2 fireballs on him. Simultaneously.
Yeah.
Anyway, we ran into a cave, And Dean's spell system is that you can have more than one spell concentrated on at a time, called spell focuses. I dropped all of my defensive wards and went all 5 slots and focus, and I concentrated on nothing but a blizzard on a layered 5 times over blizzard on the entryway of the cave. And that sealed us in, but the orcs are on the outside of it. I shan't spoil what happens next, but that is some Stug. Hello, that is some examples, I would say, of what you were talking about earlier on, in which you can use the environment or create aspects of the environment. Where you've got your walls of fire, your tidal waves, your prismatic walls, walls of force. What's the other one? Cage, force cage. Is it, Brass?
Oh God! Don't mention that spell around me.
Force Cage is another kind of save or die spell in 5e, because if you're trapped, that's it. You're
that's
done.
Brass's opinion.
Game over. Like, job done.
So yes, environment is a great thing to use to attempt to crowd control. In the last session of Untold Destiny, was hiding behind hills, setting up layers of obscurement because I got hit for 30 bloody damage in one hit.
Well, within the environment, I was also thinking like the natural environment of the world, in a sense. I don't know if it's just the groups I game with, but like I feel like there's not enough utilized in like the natural location of the setting. For example, and I hope I'm naming all this right, because this is a great guy. Jeff Talanian, he did Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea, which is now just Hyperborea, I think, for short. One of the pre-made adventure startups is you guys are in a swamp where the water's like, I think, up to your knees or your thighs or something. And the fight is versus a bunch of giant ticks. So you're combining just sort of the possibility of the player drowning, because I believe the ticks can like grab you and submerge you while like draining you. So for me, environmental could also mean like you're in like a rice paddy, or you're fighting during a storm, or you're in like a magma area, or
no one got that.
Oh, we did. It just wasn't funny.
Sorry, let's carry on.
No, you're fine. But like, I think it'd be interesting to see stuff like that more utilized because it's a non-magical way to create another layer of challenge and difficulty.
2 characters.
Fight. Yeah.
2 characters in this campaign have died to water.
All it takes is 2 inches, man. 2 inches of water.
One was dragged in by a Watcher in the Water style monster after he was told, do not go by the stagnant water. So he went to the stagnant water.
Was that Brass?
No, it was Brass's mate. It was Baby DM's character, although he survived. It was the monk that rushed in to save him, missed 3 times, and then he got dragged in and died.
Why is it always the person who goes in to save the person who was stupid that gets murderified?
I don't know, because that guy then went in and he was actually the second character to die to water, because he went in, surrounded by black puddings immediately, and then a dragon dropped on top of him.
He was just not having a good day.
I have never lost a character outside of Untold Destiny.
Yeah, it's true. You do have survival instincts, even though your rolls and luck are awful. Vicky, wasn't there something you were telling me a while back about losing a hand?
Oh, yes. So someone who's not very far away from me right now was the GM at the time. And I had a tiefling called Ta'anai.
A tiefling?
Yes.
Hide!
No, this is a real 2nd edition tiefling.
Real 2nd edition tiefling. Air of smoke about it, just that little sort of whiff of something not quite right. Anyway, I used to pop back to Sigil now and then just to pick up some spells through my nice local friendly portal that used to take me from Torrell back to Sigil. And then Malachi, who was the priest of Orcus that we were going up against, managed to notice this pattern. And one day I come trundling back through to find him and a warband on the other side. Not only did I get captured, but he chopped my hand off. When I then had my hand regenerated by the party, when I eventually got back to them, it grew back skeletal because it had been removed by a high priest of Orcus. But the piece de la resistance was, as we were meandering around the plains, was that they used the hand to grow a clone. Now in 2nd edition, it's not like 5e. And if you are on the same plane as your clone, you go mad. Mad, I tell you. Not only was that fantastic fun role-playing, it's so memorable. And Ta'anai was my favourite ever character. And that 2nd ed campaign was just amazing. But things like that, where you're actually, admittedly, the player stupidity was heavily used against me.
And it wasn't fair to you. It wasn't a
No,
fair
no,
fight. It was an ambush.
It was absolutely my own fault. I mean, who, when they're going up against High Priests of Orcus and priests that have got divinations, use the same portal back and forth to Sigil all the time?
I think the elf likes your voice, Vicky.
Amy.
Oh, hi.
Oh, Celeste is in chat. Celeste, why aren't you in here? Oh, Kyle's in chat. Hi, Kyle. Hey, Kyle. How's it going? How's it going, Kyle? Well,
Is it bad that when you said that they cloned your hand, my first thought was that it was just like a thumb wrestling kind of moment?
I was
Like they started fighting each other. It's just like some like the thing, thank you thing. It's like two hands.
I'm going to highlight this quickly. Oh, Brothers
I
Trinzo
wish
as well.
I wish I had a great voice too. I just have that like Eastern Shore Maryland, a little bit of redneck in there. Can you tell I was born 30 minutes away from the water? No pretty elf lady's gonna think my voice is cute.
I don't know, if you put on a bit of the drawl of there, like really emphasize the drawl, get yourself a bodice dress, stand behind a bar in a
what can I get for you?
a seedy Waterdeep tavern.
Would you like some crabs? Pulls out a big pot of boiling crabs.
Hey, you called her a pretty elf lady. I think that'll be good enough.
The elf is prone to flattery. You've thrown me completely. I had something.
All right. Anyways, I'm so sorry.
We are actually.
You just got to peek into my brain. Actually,
we are. No. I've seen what comes out of it. We are actually growing midstream. People are subscribing. Hello, new people. Please do share the stream. It is fantastic.
Hey, let's go.
Let me bring this up now, because there is no good way to segue into this. So we're just going to do it now. Look at this. Who's that?
I don't know who that is. Handsome.
Told you, he looks exactly the same.
Yeah, I got a painting in my attic. Oh, I was 27.
Were you?
3 years younger than I there.
26, actually, 26.
4 years younger than I there.
Yeah.
What about the blushing bride to be there? Look.
We were in a dameler when that shot was taken. It was.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It was one of our. We didn't have many sort of luxuries in our wedding. It was. We were both students. I mean, we got married at university, and my parents splashed out on a dameler, and it was fantastic.
Well, many congratulations, guys. 28 years is nothing to sniff at all. Well,
he's put up with me for 28 years.
I mean, he cut your hand off several times. Oh, it's
I know.
There we are. How many years have you been married now, Alyssa?
We actually are We got married last September. So
I remember. Yes. So you're coming up on the 1 year.
Yeah, that's why the baby was a bit of a surprise.
Surprise!
Yeah, we were gonna wait till a couple years, but honestly,
Here
the
it
timing's and it's actually less than 2 months away from our first anniversary, so it's exciting.
Congrats. We're on 3 years, and Brass is miserable.
Actually, I'm very happy, to be honest. No
Thank you,
drama
sir.
in my life.
Well, apart from, when we drag you into ours.
That's the opposite of drama, to be honest.
Yeah, I am very drama adverse. Look at that, Vixen there says lovely couple.
Aww.
You don't know them like I do. No, although that is maybe a little bit of an announcement. We will actually be meeting meeting each other the end of this month in person, shaking hands.
Next month.
Next month.
Yeah, August. Yeah.
Getting ahead of myself. I'll turn up anyway. Come on. Hello. You anyone there? Right, I've gone way off track. To bring us back, I think being unfair to your players in certain respects is really good for clever play storytelling. And you know what? Brass was really unfair to me once, and it was fantastic. Twice, actually. He was really unfair to me 3 times, several occasions.
I have never been unfair as a DM. I don't know what you're talking about.
You power word killed the same guy twice.
That wasn't you. And to make up for it, I removed that spell from all my games henceforth.
And it was very
I was
funny.
like, yeah, you know what? That was actually kind of rude. So I'm not going to do that ever again.
But the first one was you feeble-minded my cat.
Feeble mind is one of those things. That in my mind is that's a good crowd control. That isn't an unfair spell. And you were a rogue, you weren't even a spellcaster. So if you cast that on a barbarian, it makes no difference to their game.
No, I had my wing, I had a cloak of flying, like a wing cloak. I had that activated at the time. Hey Tim, I've been seeing your comments, sir. Good takes. He feeble-minded me, and all my Tabaxi rogue could think to do was just fly away. So I was, full tilt fly speed away from the BBEG Lich after he feeble-minded. He was trying to catch me, but because I was a Tabaxi, I had infinite movement speed. So it's just this stupid cat just. The wizard had to teleport after me and put his headband of intellect on me to fix me.
I also feeble-minded the wizard. Now that was actually funny.
No, that's banned. You're not allowed to feeble-mind wizards. I'm really sorry. That can't be allowed.
I did it once 5 years ago.
He was young and needed the money. Second time, Brass was really unfair to me. Same character. I was level 17 or 18. I think level 18. We just beaten the campaign. We just destroyed the Lich. The fight lasted literal hours. Was it 3 or 4 hours, that fight, I think, Brass?
It was a whole session, so
yeah. I was the phylactery the whole time.
Look, it was a plot twist, and it was the end of the campaign. And you know what? They cut off a finger from you or whatever it was, and just resurrected you straight away afterwards. Anyway, so that wasn't unfair at all. You had the exact tools to deal with that situation in your group at the time.
So this is something I say to you a lot, isn't it?
Except we usually don't have the tools because the players don't understand their characters.
Okay,
so...
I will say now, Michael McLaughlin, hello. I'm seeing a lot of new people. Guys, if you are new, do like the stream, share it with your friend groups, etc., etc. So, send the thing to a single friend. It's free, easy, helps me out a lot. But, look, 80% of this is self-promotion. I've been just hammering the self-promotion. I think you can respect that.
Hey, listen. It's a grind set. It's a mindset. You got to integrate it into everything. I'm going to have a TED Talk and a coaching line, actually, by the end of the month. You send me $50 a month, I will tell you exactly what you need to manifest in your life to create success.
Is this for your alpha male retreat course?
Listen, baby needs a new pair of shoes,
It's not even here yet.
That's true.
Oh God, people are giving me money again. I mean, yay, people are giving me money again. I will say, Brass, you have a point that if the players do not fundamentally understand their inventory, their character sheets, etc., then it is very difficult for you to rely on them as teammates. It is very fortunate, therefore, that you know exactly what you're doing with your character sheet and have saved most of their lives several times.
But that's why I'm worried about me getting stun locked.
Oh,
because if I'm the one getting unable to play the game, I can't save myself.
Also, the cleric is a DM PC now, so I know what it can do. So there's that. We have some DM PCs. I'm going.
We have a few of those, yeah.
Liverpool for $1 redo. Rumble Rant says, if I had to pinpoint the moment people started simping for tieflings, it would have to be the Anna Romance plot in Planescape Torment. It's on my to-play list, I have to say. Although I really like the Tiefling Thief Companion in Neverwinter Nights 2. She was always a favorite of mine. I thought she was very fun. We also have Stug. I think it's just Stug. I'm pretty sure there was another one. If I missed something, I have not. Good. If I have missed you, I apologize. Stug, $5 redues. So crowd control can suck as a player. I'm a fan in general. This is exactly my point of view, actually. I don't know about level drain, though. It's extra painful if it isn't reversible. I once threatened my players with level drain, and they then behaved themselves for the next week.
Listen, the creator of that mechanic, because I don't think it was Gygax, I think it was Ed Greenwood, or at least he created a lot of the undead that do the level drains. He literally said it himself that mechanic sucked. And
I think he's right. I think he's very right. I'd
like to say though, we actually knew someone who loved being level drained because he hated playing high level characters and would purposefully try and get himself down to a lower level again.
Look, if we did that on Baby DM,
who hurt him?
I don't know.
Who hurt him? Like,
where on the doll?
like that's. I would say a good replacement would be like a attribute drain in lieu of that if you want to homebrew that out, because you can like level drain. I think also adds a layer of complexity to the table and the combat, which is another reason it's annoying. Because if you're midway through the combat and all of a sudden you've lost like 2 levels and you have to go back and refigure out everything you've kind of lost. It really disrupts the flow of combat. And for me personally, I don't DM as much as I'd like, but usually I DM one-shots. And for me, my player's fun because usually I've got 3 hours because I'm running a game out at my local game shop. So anything that disrupts the game's flow to the point where it's a problem, whether that's player behavior, people being annoying, people being stupid, like it's got to get cut out. So for me, level drain just has to get like swapped out with something else because it's incredibly disruptive, especially if you have a very limited amount of time to get through a game.
Especially if you've got pencil and paper character sheets.
Yes.
Everyone spends ages rubbing everything out.
Level drain does work well, and that's in old video games because it does it all for you.
Oh yeah, video games are different. Story.
Baby DM would love to be level drain, Brass.
I know. Yeah, he is our master system or whatever. He just anytime we give him a buff or a powerful item or any money at all for his character, he just immediately tries to give it away or turn it down, and he's like, "No, I don't want any of it."
DM, you're worth it. You're worth it. You just, it's okay. Take them.
This is a man who purposefully likes to make himself as ugly as possible.
Yeah, all his characters he designed are supposed to be, and himself.
In real life.
In real life, he tries to be as ugly.
Can I send him like a card or like?
Yeah, I'll give it to him.
Yeah, like please.
You want to write a little note?
Listen.
To tell you what, right now, to the camera, a message to Baby DM.
Baby DM, I don't know you. Please stop hurting yourself. You seem like a very nice person who people care about you, and I don't know you.
No, we only care because he debuffs himself so much it affects everyone else around him.
I know, but like, this is your fun time. You're allowed to like enjoy yourself and accept the gifts of your friends, and so please like be nice to yourself. get some water, take a nap, have a snack, and please don't. Thank you.
Oh, you're going to be an awesome mum.
Aw.
Well, I'm
There's a
also
big-
told my husband I'm gonna practice how to throw a flip flop.
Definitely.
Just like if I can't
You're gonna go full
hit
Tiger
a
Mom?
target at 50 yards with a flip flop, am I even a correct parent?
Well, I think that should be a stream for Jack. I think we should all line up with flip-flops to see how far we can throw them. He's never going to let girls
British
on again.
state, I do not endorse beating children, laying a finger on children. Please
No, we're
don't
talking
put me
about
in prison,
throwing
mein Stammer.
flip-flops.
This is I did not say I was throwing it at the child.
No,
I
you were
could be
speaking
throwing it
about
at the
Context
husband.
clues.
Like
I also do not improve of domestic abuse. Improve? I'll improve on it. I know. This is where I get cancelled, isn't it?
all right, no,
Oh,
this is where I get canceled, which is great because I just released a book. So clearly, I want 70 people
You could turn it into.
doing like a 1-star review on my book saying
You could
she's
turn
just.
that into a pity campaign. You're still on the grind set.
I mean, yes, they hate me because I joked about domestic violence on They hate me because I'm beautiful or something like that. I don't know. But back to crowd control.
The elves want it.
Um,
Yes, the whole point of this damn stream.
Yeah. Technically, depending on how far and how effective you throw the flip flop, it can be great crowd control because there's a fear factor to it. Like once you've seen somebody throw a flip flop at 50 yards and it strikes somebody, it's like fear effect right there. Speaking of fear effects,
crowd control again?
let's talk about fear effects. How do we feel about them?
Brass has a good way of describing.
Oh my god! Right there, we have a wizard in our group that has this third-party spell that he deliberately decided to drop on me at like 2 a.m, so I wasn't willing to like actually read the spell. And it's called like Void Barrage as a 3rd-level spell. And the way it works is you make a spell attack against a creature, and if it hits, they are frightened. And while that's active, he can keep doing it every single round without having to use another spell slot. Right? And so any creature that isn't immune to frightened, because he's a wizard and has like 120-foot range, just can't get close to the group. So if we're fighting a giant, for example, on a hill, it's staying on that hill, getting bombarded the entire time. So yeah, frightened condition. I don't understand why it prevents you from moving closer to the target. I think it should give you difficult terrain. I think it should reduce your speed by half, so you can still move closer, but you're more tentative. And then also having disadvantage on all your attack rolls against everything. I mean, I don't mind disadvantage because, again, it's what I call soft crowd control, right? Rather than hard crowd control, which just stun locks you out the game. I don't mind it too much, but
I feel like that. At first, I was like, "Oh, I'm not sure if I'm feeling that." But when you mentioned like the disadvantage and making it, I feel like that's a good way to keep people in the game. I think on the last stream I mentioned this dragon fight we were in, where only 2 people saved. So essentially, only 2 players were actually in the combat for probably about an hour.
I can one up you on that. I remember a dragon fight I was in. Brass was DMing. I was the only person that saved. It was a green dragon. I was an elf. In the lore, the green dragon will always go for the elf first. So I was the elf casting poison resist while this dragon was bouncing around the camp while everyone else was too scared to hit it. And I was desperately trying to dodge for my life and lead it toward the barbarian.
Well, recently on Business Unusual, we had a scenario which resulted in the whole party being terrified. I will let Dean explain what happened.
So it was they're dealing with eldritch magics and horrors, and they just killed a bunch of cultists, examining this strange circle with sigils, and someone's carrying this book with a strange symbol on it that talks to them. And they approached the circle, and the book kind of exploded into life, and raised a load of the dead cultists. They kind of rose into the sky, into the air. Blood just burst out of every single pore, out of their eyes, their ears,
A family
to create
show.
this. Oh yeah, absolutely. To create this kind of blooded, bloated mess. So if you witness it, there's an immediate saving throw to see if you are frightened or not. And everybody in the group failed to save. So they were at penalties. I've got 2 grades of frightened. One is frightened, one is terrified. If you're frightened, penalties, but you can still approach the person you're frightened or the source of your fear. If you're terrified, at that point, you can no longer approach the source of your fear, but only the more powerful creatures have that. But this combat went on, and it was whilst we were using the qualifiers for a rogue to get their sneak attack. So 2 rogues in the party, 1 wizard. Damage went right down. It was a terrible fight. It was a long fight. It was a terrible fight. It was almost a wipe, but they managed to pull it down.
We did manage to pull it out.
You did. But this is the beauty with Untold Destiny. I turned around and said, well, 2 of you have healing kits. And they went, yes. And I said, there's smelling salts and stuff in the healing kits. It can be used to remove conditions. And everybody's like, what? And I said, yeah, have a look at the text of a healing kit and you'll see a list of conditions. You can you can use your healing skill and help someone recover from a nasty condition. It's got all the different ointments and stuff in there. You quickly make the mix, you put it under their nose, it snaps them back to reality, gets rid of the fear. Well done.
And you see, Dean, friend, this is where we align quite a bit, because as Brass said earlier on, I always tell the party, and I have to remind them this several times per session, everything that I have put in the dungeon or in front of you, you have the tools to either deal with or get away from.
Yeah.
But I don't really like the whole idea of fair play so much, because it kind of takes away from the idea that you're existing in a fantasy world for a few hours per week. But you do actually have, because I can see your sheets, it's all online. I know what you've got and I plan accordingly. You've got ways to deal with conditions. You've got ways to deal with flying creatures. And you've even got tons of magical items. And I know for a fact now that you were flush with gold a few sessions ago, I know that 2 of you have Revivify prepared, and I know you've got several diamonds. You're golden. Go deal with the problem.
Yeah.
It's just having the confidence to know your sheet.
Absolutely. Talking of being prepared, now that you've got a paladin in the group, the paladin comes with two spells. One is the bless spell. Mm-hmm. So the paladin can bless the whole party. It gives you the option of spending a point of stamina to roll a d6, add it to one of your primary saving throws.
That's really good.
Yeah. So it's designed, failing a saving throw can be quite debilitating to your character.
That's what you keep your fate point for.
Absolutely. Keep it for your saves, or you have someone who can cast things like Bless. The other one is a spell that you can get access to, and priests can. Yeah.
It's cocaine.
Cocaine. No. And that's Bolster Ally, where if someone in the party is about to fail a saving throw, you can extend, you cast the spell as a reaction, you quickly extend it to the person, and you add a d6 to their saving throw. Brilliant. So it's all about the party being able to help each other in these difficult positions.
It's a team-based game.
Absolutely.
Speaking of teams, now that he's here, there is another little announcement to make, because we're coming up on the hour. Noble Shield, sir, you were the one that named this audience. Jackpack was your creation. Welcome, and I'm ever so pleased to know things have started to look up for you. Keep your chin up, mate. We're right here with you. The entire community has your back, but not just this community. I know the Nerdcognito Nation is fully behind you. If you need anything at all, I'm sure someone has the ability to reach out and help, even if it's just an ear to rant into. Sir, keep going. The demons persist, but so do we. It's a very close-knit family here. We're a family business.
Oof.
Yeah, red flags.
PTSD flashback right there. There was something that popped into my brain, but I can't.
Like the old Nan used to say, if it doesn't come back, it was a lie. If it does, it was important.
I think there was a conversation in the comments that was kind of interesting where talking about I think somebody mentioned kind of just letting things happen and seeing if the players can deal with it. And I think sometimes with some systems, you kind of have to go into that because with 5e, I've heard that it is notoriously difficult to run at higher levels because of how unbalanced everything naturally
Absolutely.
becomes.
Yeah.
The solution to that is to embrace the chaos.
That's true.
No, the solution to that is to play Until Destiny.
Yes.
I want to get my level 20 campaign in if they ever get there.
Well, it reminded me of the one time I did play in a 5e until the very end. You're right, couple adventurers. I'm not your dad. I'm your mother. So surprise. But I remember I was at a level 20 campaign final boss. This is when we fought Orcus, and it was kind of interesting how there was a lot of stuff going on, but the only thing my character did basically the entire time was cast Counterspell, which was kind of interesting. But it also is like, okay, this is, I don't want to say it's not a boring fight because there's a lot going on and it's fun and it's like the end of the campaign. But it's also like, if all I'm doing is casting Counterspell, that's not the most fulfilling part of the game, if that makes sense.
So yeah, 5th edition's got a weird thing where Counterspell's too good and Counter Charm for some godforsaken reason is not a reaction. That's all I'm going to say so far. I'll let some of you guys get in, but I will also say $1 do from Liverpool over on Rumble. Thank you very much. Does the healing kit contain unguents? Such a great word. I apply a medical unguent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what do we think of Counterspell? And tell you what, because we're a bit unbalanced with how we're all talking, etc., even though it is great fun. Vicky, you first, and then we'll go to Brass, then Dean, then you, Alyssa, and then I'll finish off.
Okay.
Well, my last ever 5th Ed campaign that I will ever play, I played a wizard. I played an abjurer, and I had Counterspell.
Did you like the abjuration? When you cast a spell, you get a shield that you can send
Yeah,
around?
I loved all of that. That was really nice. Apart from, to be honest, the whole sort of abjuration class just never actually materialized as I wanted it to. It was a bit lackluster, especially at high levels. And I mean, we played this up to what? We went past 20th level. So we went, Dean does past 20th level, we do epic levels, and yeah, it always got a bit flat, but we banned Counterspell. There was one massive fight where I was attending my sister's wedding. I mean, I can't believe that a GM would actually ambush me at my sister's wedding. And we had all of these bad guys coming down, throwing spells at everybody at the wedding. And of course, we were counterspelling, and the whole thing just evolved into I counterspell, your counterspell, and it was. And
began the Counterspell wars had.
It was, and quite frankly, as a mage, as a wizard, it just got boring. There were so many other things I wanted to do, but all I ever did was counterspell, so we banned it. Oh, thanks.
Confidence boosts here. Confidence boosts.
Yeah, I'm happy now.
28th anniversary. You're gonna be left for an elf.
But yeah, I found it really lackluster. Now, funnily enough, the abjurer that we designed for Until Destiny is actually how I want to play an abjurer, so that's a lot more interesting.
Your sort of class, eh?
Yeah, yeah. But Counterspell, definitely not. I think it should be banned, and it's horrible. Has anybody else ever used Counterspell and actually thought it was good?
Yes,
probably
it saved me from a death.
Also,
so many
Kim,
different
you are
things
correct. 5e was in fact developed by Matt Mercer. It's a little known fact,
So Brass, I think we're gonna have a revolt from the elf who just wants to listen to Vicky. This is now the Vicky show. Brass, Counterspell in your games. This is probably a good idea to talk about the Nazreen fight.
Well, look, so I also had a similar experience where our wizard in the BBEG fight sat in the corner and just cast counterspell because it was a lich, so very spellcastery, and he just sat there, counterspell, 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 counterspell. And the way it works in 5e is like you can use a 3rd level slot to counterspell a 9th level spell, and all you have to do is beat a DC 19, which at the level that you're fighting things that can cast 9th level spells is ridiculously easy to beat. Right? It's not even a challenge. Because you've got like a plus 15 to your bloody spell modifier at that point. So the way I've done it now, because I think it's unfair on players, it's a lot like crowd control. Like, I think of counterspell in the same way as like whole person, but I actually think it's worse, because unless you have a counterspell yourself, there's nothing you can do as a player. If you try and like, oh, I've got this awesome spell, I can only cast it once a day, and the DM just goes, snaps his fingers, sorry. Right, moving on to the next person. It sucks.
It's effectively a skip
really
turn.
sucks. I felt bad for our sorcerer when that happened to him. Was it? I can't remember if it was last session or the session before.
Session before, and he had it
coming. That is why. The way I do counterspell is it's a contested roll. So they both roll their spell casting ability. So if you're a wizard, it'll be intelligence, and then whoever rolls higher, success. You know, if you're counterspelling and you roll higher, it succeeds. If you're counterspelling but you roll lower, it fails. But you keep the spell slot, so it's not a waste of time. However, every level above 3rd that you cast it at, you gain a +2 to the roll. At every level above 3rd that the enemy spell is, they gain a +2 to the roll. So if you try and use a 3rd level counterspell to counterspell a 9th level spell, they've got like a +12 to their roll, meaning that it's going to be practically impossible to win. But even then, I mean, it's worked because our min-maxi wizard player has decided not to take counterspell. And he said, "Oh, I would have, because it's the go-to when you get the 3rd level spells. But because you've nerfed it, I don't want to bother." And I'm like, "Oh, thank God."
Now you don't have to worry about it.
And I don't really use it on my players either. I mean, we've got a session coming up which is specifically like wizard backstory, and there are a bunch of mage hunters, so they do have hold person, they do have counterspell, they do have things like dispel magic. But it's a rarity in my games because it's just not fun. Like, let the players do what they want to do. Let the DM do what they want to do. Stop trying to annoy each other. Basically.
Talking about liches, we, on our last 5th level campaign, we went up against a lich. But someone, who's not very far from me, was running the game. And what sort of lich was it, Dean? What sort of lich?
It was a Halruan wizard who had sealed himself away before the first Sundering, so before 4th edition came around. Effectively sealing in 2nd edition magics. So when they went in, the rules of the weave changed, and it became 2nd edition magics, saving dice and stuff like that. It was
bouncy lightning bolts.
Yeah. We were level what, 22, 23 in 5th ed, and we basically had our bottoms packaged and handed back to us.
After the shock of being able to cast a spell and have as many concentration spells running as you wanted, the fight, the players, it was the best fight the players had ever had because there were real stakes. It was having to be planned.
Proto Untold Destiny?
They did it twice because they had to use a wish, which was the powerful version of wish, to effectively undo time and retreat back. Of which the Archlich knew what had happened and was speaking to them and going, "Are we going to do this again? Because either you're going to kill me, I'm going to kill you, or you'll kill me and I will kill half of you. Neither one of us wins. Can't we talk?" And they decided, no, we're going to fight again. And he kicked their asses again.
Yeah. So then we agreed to chat after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So counterspell.
Yes, your counterspell.
Okay. Get rid of it in 5th ed. It frees up the game. It makes the game flow a lot better. And if you ask, well, what replaces it? What was used in the past? Dispel magic. So dispel magic is never used in 5th edition because counterspell is used instead. Someone casts a spell, you counter it on your turn with the dispel magic. Yeah, and you rip apart their spells, you rip apart their magics. And I believe in 5th edition, Dispel magic, when you do it at a target, it goes through all of the spells, attempting to dispel each one on that target. So
it's kind of strange, 5th edition dispel magic, because it always says you target a magical effect, and then it's very nebulous as to what that is.
Yeah, we went round the corners on that one, because it changes how it describes what's happening midway through the spell to indicate you keep going. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we had a dispel, the same fight as the wizard sat in the corner casting counterspell the whole thing against our lich. He started the fight with a 9th level, I think it's called Foresight. So every single attack against him has disadvantage, and he has advantage on saving throws. As Jack said, the fight was 3 to 4 hours long. It wasn't until right at the end that I think it was like a ranger cleric multi-class had dispel magic the entire time, and decides to cast it on that Foresight right at the end of the fight. It's like, if you had done that at the start of the encounter...
This is why you need to know your character sheet.
Yeah.
But invulnerability as well. You've got Foresight, you've got invulnerability. And all of those are just the game changers when you're playing sort of high-level 5th ed. And they actually make it almost impossible. Add wishing, and it's almost impossible to lose.
Well, before we continue on to Miss Hazel, we have $1 do, rumble rant, silence thy prate, thou braying coxcombs, and suffer the gentleman with the enchanting voice to discourse anon. In sooth, I care not for thy status effects. You muddled up the Middle English there, but I'll forgive you because the effort was good. You said what you wanted to say, Dean? Or
I don't think there's much more. Get rid of counterspell, your game will be transformed.
Alyssa?
Not to be the contrarian in the room, but I think if you look at games, systems such as 5e, because there are so many insta-kill spells, you kind of have to have something to counteract it, and that would be counterspell. But I think that counterspell is one of those things that you have to set either home game rules with, or you have to find a way to balance it out. And I like Brass's idea of at least making it a sort of counter kind of thing. The other thought I had is you have to use a spell slot of a level that's equivalent to the spell that they are casting. So you can't necessarily use like a 3rd level spell slot to negate a 9th level spell. And it also makes you think a lot more about the spells that you cast in combat, because if you have one 9th level spell and you use it, you can't counteract whatever's coming from that 9th level spell slot that your opponent has.
So my question for you on that is, if you were playing a wizard, how would you feel about it?
I'll be honest, I think counterspell in 5e can get a little ridiculous because, again, you get the Mexican standoff kind of thing going on with 3 different people doing counterspell. And I think it should be between 2 people. You can't have another wizard intervening in it because that gets messy. But right now, the game I'm playing right now is Pathfinder 1e. And in order to cast counterspell, this is some of the most ridiculous jumping through hoops I have ever seen when related to a spell. Because before you can even cast, you have to have the spell prepared. You also have to have the specific spell that your opponent has, and you have had to prepare it earlier in the day to even think about counterspelling. Then, from what I remember of the spell, because I just don't keep it anymore because it's practically useless as is, then you have to, if they have spell resistance, and usually there's spell resistance if they're doing that kind of casting, you have to overcome the spell resistance. Then you have to do the contested roll. And then, if you have all of these things line up, you can use counterspell.
But you've just mentioned something that I think, and that's resistance, spell resistance.
Yeah.
Now, I remember that from 2nd, and when I was playing wizards in 2nd, and oh my god, spell resistance was just so painful.
I
The
wouldn't
way
mind.
5th edition handles magic resistance is quite simplistic and quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind spell resistance as much if, when you become a higher level caster, you obtain a level of spell resistance of your own. But that doesn't happen. But the monk at the table has spell resistance somehow. But the actual arcane caster has no inherent defense against spells, which is a little bit ridiculous when you start getting to the level of everything has spell resistance.
Except you.
So, except
How did spell resistance work? Because someone in chat also asked, what do people think about spell
You take
resistance in
percentages of the damage.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Right, there we are.
No, in first and second, spell resistance was a percentile roll, which if you made the percentile roll, you took no damage from the spell. You were immune to it.
Oh, geez, that was
So, for
It's-
example, there's a Yugoloth called the Guardian Demon, 95% spell resistance. So 1 in 20 spells might work against it. It was ridiculous. You then had spells like lower resistance and stuff like that, but even they had to overcome some of the spell resistance of the creature.
yeah, and in Pathfinder, it's the creature has a locked-in. From what I understand, it's a locked-in DC that you have to overcome, which when you're at the mid-range levels is kind of ridiculous because it's like, okay, I have this small percentage that my spells will actually go off. Even if it's like an area of effect spell, if it's cast near the creature, I think it also has a chance of not going off. It has to be something of a distance of it, which is...
Pathfinder used the 3.5 system, which is your SR is a number that is a DC that your caster has to roll a dice, D20 plus their level to overcome. And that could be like 22, 23. So if you're a 10th level caster, you're needing 12 or 13 on your caster level check. So you've more than a 50% chance. The idea being the more powerful a caster you are, the greater your chance of overcoming spell resistance of a lower level. The problem is it led to the feat tax of, if I'm a spellcaster, I have to take penetrate resistance and then greater penetrate resistance. Otherwise, I will end up in fights where I'm doing nothing because I'm up against.
And we're back to this, wherein people just want to play the game. Damn it!
Yeah,
it's a form of crowd control if you think about it, because the creature's passively crowd controlling the wizard.
Yeah. But still, it's like, it's one of my gripes with Pathfinder, because I'm like, I just want to be able to sit down and make a character in an hour and understand it and play it. And when I first, this is a side kind of thing, but like a tangent, but when I first made my character, I had to make the same character 3 times because I was in the middle of planning my wedding and I'd never played Pathfinder before. And I had no idea what I was doing. And I kept not knowing my character sheet because half the stuff was missing the first time I made the character. So it's just like...
Sounds like you need to play Untold Destiny. Hey.
The maths is more manageable.
Allow me to jump in. Because Stug has sent us a super chat a while ago now.
Thank you, Stug.
$5 dues. Cheers, mate. Proposal. Counterspell is a cantrip, bold choice, but it requires a bonus action to start and a reaction to release. And it also just weakens. I like that, because that's kind of where I was going to go, mate. Kind of. I like Counterspell as is. Not going to lie, just a no button, fine. Accept it, move on. I want to do it all the time. Make sure you're more than 60 feet away when you cast your spell with a 200-foot range on it. Don't mind Counterspell in 5th edition. I realize my players don't like it, therefore I'm going to not use it or change it or some such. Pussies.
Bear in mind, this opinion's coming from someone who has not been counterspell locked in his entire life. And he's never been stun locked either. So that's why he's devil advocate on the stuns. Right there. He hasn't actually been on the
Oh,
receiving
you're talking
end
about me.
of
I've been on the
any of
receiving
this.
end of stuns.
No,
I
you-
remember
yeah, no,
Jazari
you
got
haven't.
balked by one of Nazreem's
What,
lieutenants.
5 years
and
ago.
stunned.
5 years ago.
It still happened. Doesn't matter about the amount of time that's elapsed. Anyway, the counterspell thing. There was a book that second edition released. Was it the Art of Arcana or the Arcane Arts or
Unearthed Arcana?
Unearthed.
no? It was
No.
the one where all the
Unearthed Arcana, I
spells sort of
think it's Eden.
intersected, and all the magic schools had different effects based on what was hitting each other. I'm sure it was second edition. Might have been third.
No, yes, second I think it was. Yeah.
And I like that idea because in 5th edition there's echoes of it. Shield, 5 AC until the start of your next turn, and also stops magic missile. Why can't you do that with other spells? Because if you know you're going up against a fire wizard, you're going to take absorb elements so that you can absorb the fire damage. If you know you're going up against a creature that is going to throw you around, you're going to take slow fall, you're going to take fly. I like when the game is why I like Druid so much. I like when I can sort of understand where the adventure is going and be able to prepare my spell picks accordingly. When Brass ran his Théodore Isles campaign, I played a Druid, and I took note of the fact there was a damn dragon flying around, and I always had Earthbind prepared. Always. That was number one spell on my list, was as soon as I see dragon, Earthbind, down you come, my friend. We're buggering off. Similar situation happened recently in Brass's new campaign in a swamp, and there was a wyvern with fire breath flying around. And I turn to the druid, and I say, do you have Earthbind prepared? And he says, what's that? Because he doesn't know how to read.
He doesn't cast. This is baby DM as well, so like
It's still baby
this goes
DM.
back to him nerfing himself, and we'll be like, "Hey, you got a really good spell you could cast in this." No, I'm going to turn into a bear and charge the enemy.
That's all he does.
No. You know what? Fair enough. You gotta bear with it sometimes.
It's easy to DM for, at least.
Guys, we're coming up on the hour and a half. So I don't want to cut us short, but I am completely connected. So we're gonna go round the table quick. Dean, Vicky, happy anniversary again, guys.
Thank you.
Go ahead and just before you do your little pitch, and I expect great things from Vicky, considering how she goes on and about Dean about things. The link I am posting in chat, boys and girls, if I may have your attention, thank you. Go and click that link. It is a playlist to Business Unusual, a fantabulously produced live play or actual play of Untold Destiny, which these two lovely people have created. Just look at it and tell me it does not look gorgeous when you click that link. Subscribe to that channel, and while you're at it, you can follow them over on X, and I'll let you tell them about what you guys do while I get your links.
Cool. Well, I'm going to butt in here because Dean always panics. But basically, Untold Destiny is classic roleplay reimagined. We've created a system that Dean wants to GM, so it comes together well, it's easy to prepare, and it's enjoyable to run, and that I want to play. And it is that simple. It's immersive, it's character driven, and it's about playing and having fun around the table, and it's got a good framework that supports that. Immersion is the key, and character is the absolute key for Untold Destiny. So check us out, and we will be running some one-shots towards the end of the year where you'll be able to sign up for them and actually play. Dean will be running them, so we'll be making those open. You just basically sign up for them, so give it a go. And we will be releasing an adventure, and it'll be a complimentary adventure for you guys to run yourselves, and that'll be towards the end of the year. Dean's just finishing writing it now, so that will be available complimentary to all followers of Untold Destiny, and Jack's going to get first dibs to play with it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been running it on my channel anyway. I've been having a fantastic time. The ending to the last session was incredible. Dean,
Yes.
maybe this comment here might help you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's classic in the sense that when you play it, you should feel like you're playing one of the classic games, second edition, basic, third edition, but without the baggage those games had. So there's none of the stupid spells, the instant kill spells, the spells that allow you to teleport around the world or communicate, the spells that in reality would break the world as it exists. Your character is very much the heart of the story. Your cooperation within the group, very much key to survival. And I've taken some elements I've loved from the classic system. So, for example, your saving throws are a combination of two things. Your attribute, similar to 5th Ed, but more importantly, the attack, the special attack you're facing. Is it a gaze attack? Is it from an item? Is it from a contact, breath weapon, or is it a spell? So you get this lovely blending of what I consider to be some of the best mechanics from classic systems, but streamlined into a new system and changed. And one of the reimaginings we've actually done is you get to roll multiple D20s when you're really skilled at doing something. And this changes the whole average dynamics so that if you're really good with blades and you're rolling 3D20, on average, you're going to be getting good results. You're not just rolling that one dice. And you have the same chance of critting as you have at fumbling. And this creates a fantastic streamlined system. And it's easy because you have to roll 20 or higher unless you're contested. So the DC remains the same. We use banes and boons to adjust your difficulty up and down. So the maths becomes so much easier to handle.
I can assure you I need easy maths.
Oh, you do. And apart from, some spiky damage. Jack, 30 hit points.
Living me on 4. The very beginning of the fight, slapped down to 4 HP.
Yeah, but HP is just a resource. When you lose it, you're not dead. You're still standing, but you're now weakened and subject to being wounded. So
I am very brittle caster character. Anyway, Brass, you're doing YouTube now.
I am. Hang on, let me spam.
Get your thing, and I'll get your Twitter profile.
Right, yeah, I am doing YouTube now. I have a few D&D related videos. I've released one yesterday about brass dragons, would you believe? I even released a short about iron golems earlier as well, which is doing quite well.
That's a brutal idea. That is a brutal
I've got some tier
idea.
lists on there. I've got a dragon tier list, and I've got the demon lords tier list. I've got a nice... It was supposed to be a really long-form video on black dragons, but then me just randomly ranting about brass dragons ended up being a longer video. That was supposed to be like a video essay like thing on black dragons, but it's one of my shortest videos. So there we are.
Failure. Utter failure. You had one job. Speaking of one job and 80% of it being marketing, Alyssa.
All right. Well, as I already mentioned, maybe once or twice, I have a book coming out. I had a book that came out on the 19th. It is a sequel to my science fiction thriller, The Third Test. It is set 5 years after the first book, where Sister Katina is arrested by her local government and given an option of either 1, rotting in prison, or 2, becoming the subject of human experimentation on the Second Initiative.
Hey, this is why I didn't want to go into your brain.
She combined a little bit of gang warfare and a little bit of maybe some demonic stuff from Beyond the Stars, and you have a weird sci-fi thriller with a little bit of Western sensibilities. So I am very proud, and I'm really tickled that people have seemed to like it so far.
Good, very good. And you know who I am, and someone has said, is there any point in liking the stream on Rumble? Yes, because someone disliked it. So yes. Do like, subscribe, share the thing about... in fact, something that I am quite proud of that I have created as of late is the new Dungeons and Devolution video that I released a few days ago, where I couldn't sleep. It was 2 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was. I couldn't sleep. I'd meant to make this a scripted thing, much like Brass, and just talk very in depth about it. But at the end of the day, every time I sat down to write the script, I scrapped it. So I thought, F it. I'm just going to sit down and talk about how I feel about the way the fantasy genre has sort of devolved ever so slightly and the reasons behind it. At the surprise twist, nothing political in the video. The issue, I believe, is one of literacy. And I will leave it there because you should watch it and see if you agree with me. I think it is a fantastic little video. If anyone is able to post on Reddit, because I can't, go ahead and show it to Asmongold. I think, wherever that hive of scum and villainy is. But no, apparently you've got to have an old account to be able to post on things, and I don't. So share the video around. I would much appreciate that. Go forth, Jackpack. Spread the good word. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. Really appreciate this conversation. Really enjoyed it. It's been utterly fantastic. We've grown during the stream. We've had a strong audience. We've got lots of likes, got lots of subscribes, we've got lots of chats. Everyone needs to go and subscribe, especially to Business Unusual. And we are going to go from there. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.